Hi everyone, it's Terry here from nutsaboutsstamping.com. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a very simple but very beautiful friendship card. You can change the phrase on your card to match the occasion you need, but I'm going to use the hello phrase from the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. My card base is Whisper White. I've cut it 8.5 by 5.5. and I've scored it at the 4 1/4 mark, and so my card base is going to be a portrait layout. Now, I'm going to use several of my brand new rectangle stitched framelits dies to help me create some gorgeous layers for my card. So the first layer I'm going to create is one using Blackberry Bliss. I love this color and I seldom use it, but you'll see why I'm using it on this card in a minute. So I'm going to use one of my larger rectangle stitched framelits to cut a stitched rectangle out of this layer. Hopefully, there we go. So I have my magnetic platform, bottom standard cutting pad. I have my cardstock with the framelit on top and the top standard cutting pad, and I'm going to run that through. Now, what you get from this is you get the piece with the stitched layer all the way around it, or the stitched motif, but you also end up with a frame. So the beauty of these framelits, no pun intended, is that you can keep the frame for another project, but I'm going to use this layer. And then I have a piece of the absolutely gorgeous Perennial Essence Designer Series paper. And this is what helped me determine the colors for my card. So I'm going to use another stitched framelit, a smaller size one, so that it will create a smaller layer for my big Blackberry Bliss piece. And I pre-cut my I pre-cut my Designer Series paper so that I would have the flower image in the frame. So I want it, I'm going to turn it this way. I want this big flower to be featured on my card. So I'm going to use the same sandwich, hold this in place, and run this next layer through. And again, there is this gorgeous stitched frame around the outside. So it's going to look like that. I think it's just so pretty. And then, finally, I have a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. And as I mentioned, I'm going to use the hello phrase from the Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss as my color. I could use one of the other colors that are featured in this Designer Series paper. If you go to the catalog, underneath where it shows the price of the paper, it'll also give you a list of the colors, so you can coordinate things perfectly. So then the last thing I'm going to use is another one of the stitched framelits, and I'm going to put that around the hello, and then I'm going to run that through the Big Shot. So everything is going to be coordinated by the design thanks to the framelits. Okay, and there is the hello phrase. So let's put it all together. I've got my card base, and then to that I am going to add the Blackberry Bliss. And I'm using some snail adhesive. Now if I wanted to add a little bit more interest, I could pop this up off my card base. Oh, that's a bit crooked. Hang on. There we go. So I could pop this up as well, but I think what I'll do is I'll just simply pop up the phrase, because I know that this card is going to be mailed and I don't want to add any more dimension than necessary because it will cost more in postage. Okay, so I've got that layer on top, and then I'm going to situate the hello so I can still see the beautiful flowers. And this I am going to pop up using 2 of my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'll put one on either side. And then peel the tails off. And I'm going to add it in the top right corner, like so, to complete my card. Now, if you have some corresponding ribbon, you could run a strip of ribbon up the side. You could put a little piece of ribbon that's tied in a bow on an angle, or you could use some other special embellishments to make this card have a little bit more sparkle or shine. I am very happy with it as it is, so I'm going to leave it like it is. If you want a list of the supplies that I used and the measurements for all of the layers, I have that all compiled for you over on my blog, www.nutsaboutsstamping.com. Now, while you're on my blog, there'll be a link over there to my online store in case you want to purchase the supplies I used to make this card. You can also subscribe to my free newsletters. I send a newsletter each week with a project you won't see anywhere else. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. I hope you create something beautiful today too. Bye for now.